too much. I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much not to be honest with you. Are you the face of prison reform? Cause are you the face of prison reform? Or are you sitting here on your new song with Ross talking about getting somebody murked and shot at the red light? Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, bro? Because I did a shoe giveaway in my city and gave out 1,300 pairs of your shoes because they said reform underneath them. And I love that you partnered with a major shoe company and you out here pushing prison reform. But now I got to sit here like, man, this man glorifying getting people killed as of a week ago. Like, what are you doing, bro? Lil Snoop really got killed. That broke your heart. You wear him around your neck. Why are you glorifying the same thing? Rap game, hip hop industry is great at cooking up some delicious poison. I don't call you out because I got a problem with you, man. Like, I wish we could go get lunch right now, me and any of them.
I think it's layered. So here's everything that I see. So the first thing that I see, and I'm gonna address this and then I'm gonna get out of here. So the first thing that I see is that D is absolutely right that these artists contradict themselves and essentially play Nino Brown. If you remember, like, Nino Brown was selling drugs in the hood, but then like would hand out turkeys on Thanksgiving. So you handing out turkeys to like the same community that you're destroying with your poison. It's absolutely right that these artists are rapping about they're being irresponsible with their platform. I think that's absolutely true. I also believe that, Dee-1 has been doing this for a while. This is who he is. He put out 50 J and Wheezy, I think, right? Long time ago. So he's always been doing this. I think when the clout chasing comes into play in that response, I think it's very easy to dismiss that when like the truth is there. But it's like, it's weird. Like I think promotion in 2023 is so weird nowadays because I feel like D just dropped some music, right? I feel like in his Rick Ross response, he like, yo, I just put out an album. You should go check it out, blah, 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 blah. And to Kellis's point, the fans that he's winning over are going to go check out the album because there's a lot of people who feel like that. And because the algorithm is what it is, and because, like, how else are you supposed to promote? Like, if my post goes viral, if my music goes viral, then, like, I need to make sure that I have something to point them to. So, the algorithm rewards the clout chase. So, like, you can't dismiss it when, like, Ross is on social media every day doing the clout chasing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's responding to, talking about Nia Long and Jeezy, and he's talking about Jada Pinkett and all that. That's clout chasing. Like, it's kind of clout. It is, but it isn't, right? And this is why I say the algorithm rewards it, because on one hand, what does Rick Ross have to do with Jada Pinkett? Why is Rick Ross commenting on this, right? It's Dave Chappelle. We got Ja Rule on the phone. 9/11 just happened. I don't want to dance. I'm scared to death. I don't go to at Rich Forever and say, man, I wonder what Rick Ross thinks about Jada Pinkett and her book. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Ross knows that that Jada Pinkett is a hot topic, and if he wants to, and his response, because he has a large following on social media, this, that, and the third, that no matter what he says, even if it has a hint of controversy, then it'll go viral and it'll keep him relevant. So he doesn't have to keep dropping music, and he can still keep his brand up and keep his money rolling in, because when people see you and they see you consistently, they're going to reach out to you and they're going to book you and they're going to pay you, and you can keep your money flowing and keep your business going, right? So clout chase isn't like the big, like, aha. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the big indictment that people think it is, because you're on social media and social media rewards the clout chase. I think my only pushback for D is that I wish D kind of showed his age a little bit. It just so happens that Ross and Meek are putting out an album on Friday, but like Ross and Meek are like people like, when I think of like content and music, especially nowadays, I be listening to these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, he called out Jim Jones. Like, them niggas is in their 40s. Where was, like, yo, you from Louisiana, like, NBA Youngboy, like all the Chicago rappers, the Jacksonville rappers, Foolio, Young and Ace, Jada Youngin, who passed away last year. Like, the stuff that these kids be talking about is nuts. Like, Ross and Meek, they kind of, it's weird. Like, they kind of settled in. Like, they not really like the top guys, but you got these dudes that's like, they really got the, like, Ross and Meek ain't got the kids. The kids ain't listening to Rick Ross. The kids ain't listening to Meek Mill. Like, Meek is done out here. But they are listening to these other kids, these NBA young, that just be talking crazy. And I'm not saying that Dee-1 wouldn't call them out. I'm saying that I would have loved to have heard what that response would have been like. It might have been a little more aggressive towards D, and I would have liked to see his response to that energy. I think he would have been able to handle it well, just being a middle school teacher. But I would have loved to see him like really call out the kid, like these kids, this hip hop that these kids, these lyrics that these kids be rapping nowadays, crazy. They be talking nuts, and they be doing what they talk about. You don't really hear stories about Ross running up in somebody's house and shooting somebody. You know what I'm saying? But them Jacksonville rappers, them Chicago rappers, like, these kids now literally be rapping about, yo, had a Who I Smoke whole song dancing at a golf club over a Vanessa Carlton 1,000 Miles sample, talking about people that they actually killed. Whole documentaries about, you know what I'm saying, like, the lifestyle that these people lived and people that they like. I would have loved to have seen him respond to like the generation under him on some like, oh geez. And I wonder if they just would have disregarded him, be like, man, get out of here, old man. But I would have loved to have heard that response. That's my only pushback for D. It's a little more complicated. That's what I want to talk about. It's a little more complicated in the approach that I take, because I do say, like, yo, some of this stuff I ain't gonna listen to, but I've also said, yo, music don't influence me like that. I'm not gonna listen to a Rick Ross song and like want to go shoot somebody. I'm not gonna listen to it. Like, I'm almost 40. You know what I'm saying? So like, when people are like, yo, do you listen to hip hop? Yes, I do. I don't, music doesn't have that kind of effect over me. I also understand like the inner workings of the music industry, and I understand that the pipeline connection, right? Let's break down the connection of music, the industry, and you have to ask yourself, why are these artists rapping about what they're rapping about? You have to ask yourself that before you just get on what they're rapping about. The number one question to always ask is why, right? Now, when you look at, so like a bunch of raps, if you go on YouTube and you just type in like Rap City, like mad, there's an account that has uploaded full episodes of Rap City. Everything from like every episodes in 1990, 91, 92 up to like 97, 98, right? Right before The Basement, right before Big Tigger. And when you watch those old episodes, 90, 91, 92, like there's a lot of what's championed is a lot of like positivity, having fun. And people often say that like the introduction of gangster rap, like even though Straight Outta Compton was a thing, Straight Outta Compton leading into The Chronic and Doggy Style and Death Row's Run and everything that came with that, LA riots, all those things, right? Who are the record labels that was signing these people and like telling, like promoting that, right? So when I think of like, when you look at black kids in the hood, you look at young black kids in the hood, Meek even talked about having PTSD. just based off of things like I've seen a lot of my friends get killed. So similar to like we're living in a literal war zone. So for many of us, we process our grief, our emotions, we process them through creativity. So, man, I feel this way. I'm overwhelmed. Let me write a song. So there are so many kids in the hood who have similar PTSD experiences, and their way of processing what they see is that they want to express it creatively. So they write songs, right? So not only do they write songs, then you pick up your phone or you turn on your TV and you see what you're writing. You see what you see you're hearing what you see, right, through the music. And then you're seeing the people rap about it have chains and cars. And basically they are in an environment where they don't have to worry about gunshots. They don't have to worry about whether they're going to live or die. They don't have to worry about taking certain routes to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so the thought process is they do math, rapper math, right? Girl math, boy math, rapper math. And the math is, okay, if I write about this, then that could potentially put me in a position to where I can escape my reality, my environment, and wear the chain and drive the car and get the girl, because I'm not able to do any of that stuff. I'm sharing clothes with my little brother. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have these record labels that are signed, that a record label is a record deal is just a predatory loan with an insane interest rate. So if I give you $1 million, you have to pay that back 30% on that $1 million interest rate, or there's 30% interest rate on that $1 million loan. Not only that, the fact that I'm rapping about these things and the culture that we're in makes it to where I have to live what I rap about. If I don't live what I rap about, I'm Tekashi, and you see what they did to him. So now I go from city to city, and basically every day I have to prove to every city, I'm in these hole in the wall clubs, and I have to prove in every single city that I'm as tough as I say I am on these raps, even if I'm not. Because the goal is not to prove how tough I am on these raps. It is to get out of my environment. But what's broken is people still feel like they got to be tough. Like I really got to do some. I know kids that literally will do some stuff simply so they can write a rap about it, so they can get out of their environment. That's the goal. Yo, let me go rob this store, so then I can write a song about it, shoot a video, and then I'm lit, and then I can get out of the hood. But then if somebody was to test me or test I got it on me. So it ain't nothing to me to go rob somebody or harm somebody or hurt somebody in order to prove how real I am, because the realer I am, the more money I'm going to make. You know what I'm saying? It's why the dynamic of 50 Cent versus Kanye West was so staggering, because, again, like, listen, y'all, Jimmy Iovine's behind a white Jewish man is behind all this stuff. So Jimmy Iovine is behind all of this stuff, right? So these record companies are pushing out a certain narrative. That's all they're pushing out. Like, this Rap City documentary that's on BET is really good. And what they wanted to say was that when Viacom bought them out, that BET changed. You know what I'm saying? It's what they wanted to say. Because if y'all remember, that Little Brother video for Loving It did not get played because BET said that it was too intelligent for their audience. The old BET, if you go and look at those videos, would have never said that. The black-owned BET that was based out of Washington, D.C. would have never said that. Would have never said something was, they playing Sounds of Blackness. They playing Poor Righteous Teachers. They Bobby Jones gospel. Like, they're not going to say this is intelligent. They're not going to say this is too intelligent. But what they are going to say, but Viacom owned, got these big suits in New York. Yeah, they're going to say that, that this is too intelligent for our audience. We're not going to play that. And I've heard stories behind the scenes like BET was pushing back hard, but Viacom was like, nah. Like upper management, that was like a leadership executive decision to not play that Little Brother video. And what's crazy is that's not even a super intelligent Little Brother song. Loving It is not about like the plight of black folk. I mean, it's off of an album called The Minstrel Show. So maybe you don't want to bring attention to that. But like, you have to ask yourself, why do Meek Mill and Rick Ross and all these other artists feel like they have to rap about this stuff and live out what they rap about? Because that's what's going to make them more money. Jay said, truthfully, I can't rhyme. I want to rhyme like Common Sense, but I sold 5 mil. I ain't been rapping like Common Sense. You don't think rappers want to? It's the same way that like all the rappers know who like Sky Zoo is. All the rappers knew who Joe Budden was when he was rapping. So like, yo, I know you get busy, you da 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 da. But they not gonna rap like that even if they want to, because lyrical miracle rapidy rap stuff don't sell. And I'm rapping because I'm trying to make a lot of money. And I know what makes a lot of money is ignorance, is murder, is death. And meanwhile, while all the rappers are beefing with each other, while Dee-1 is calling out Rick Ross and Meek Mill, who put Rick Ross and Meek Mill in a position to rap? Who made it so where they felt like they had to rap about what they was rapping about? Why would Robert Kraft from one of these like one of these old white executives that Meek been running around playing tennis with going, why wouldn't one of them say, all right, yo, we're gonna make you the voice of prison reform. You should probably change your content. Did anybody tell him that? Anybody who's put money in his pocket, did they tell him that? Maybe, or maybe not. So it's a cycle and it's going to continue. So Dee-1 benefits the most because he is echoing the sentiment of the people like, hey, you guys stop rapping about that terrible rap music. And nobody goes to Rick Ross and Meek Mill and say, yo, why do you feel like you need to rap about that stuff? Is there any other way? And that's why Ross's response was money. Because that's the motive. Does anybody like connect these dots? It's deeper than that. And I think that's what bothers me is that we just go surface level and nobody digs into deeper layers. This is layered, y'all. Why are we in the hood in the first place? Why are we in America in the first place? We got to do like, I saw this. So that's also one of the things that we're going to talk about on our Kairos conversations. Like, yo, why are we in America? Why are we in America? I saw this quote that someone said. It was on Earn Your Leisure. Like, Earn Your Leisure has been talking about how different African countries are making it so to where you can visit without needing a visa. And like, I'm seeing these landscape pictures of these like beautiful African countries. I'm not just saying this about Africa, but there are so many countries that are just beautiful. Hearing things about Dubai, beautiful. And somebody left a comment, was like, yo, if you let America tell it, Africa is just full of like, huts, mud huts and dirt roads. And that's not true. There are parts of Africa that are incredibly affluent. There are parts of the Middle East that are incredibly affluent. But they want to keep us here in America. Where like we have to literally position ourselves as threats to our neighborhood. I was just reading something about Tookie Williams and the Crips. We all know why gangs were implemented. Gangs were implemented. It was the fallout of the Black Panther Party, and gangs were implemented to protect the environment because the police was coming around on BS. Who introduced crack? Who introduced cocaine? Who introduced drugs to these poor environments and made it so? That's the thing that I liked about Snowfall, which is crazy you're making a show about this. But that's the thing I liked about Snowfalls. They showed in the first season, the most telling thing about season 1 was, I think that was episode 1 or episode 2. They all had a part. They had a party at Jerome's house. So you see like the community together, and then as like crack infiltrates into LA, you see the divide and you see the aggression go up more and more and more. Right? When nobody think about drugs, when nobody. But hey, who am I? I'm talking to 14 of y'all right now. But I know I'm not wrong. And I think those things are important to say, and those are important conversations to have. And I think we as believers and we as Christians could stand to ask more questions. I think sometimes because we feel like we have the truth, then, that gives us a license to just like only declare and only challenge and only fight against. When like sometimes the ability to like how you really showcase God is like having the truth, but like just like making space for people to process themselves into truth. Asking the right questions, being inquisitive, like really being genuinely concerned and interested in like people's thought process and why people make the decisions that they made. You think if Meek grew up in I won't even say it because even this has layers, right? So if I say, yo, you think if Meek grew up in a 2-parent household, I think his dad got killed in jail or something like that. But you think if Meek grew up in a 2-parent household and he wasn't in the hood, you think he'd be rapping about what he's rapping about? Like maybe not. So we think about all the suburban rappers who grew up in nice households and, Clarence parents had a real good marriage. Like that's a diss, right? But why was B Rabbit's battle verse about Papa Doc a diss? Because Papa Doc felt the need to present himself in a way. And I guarantee you it's because he saw something and either said, that's going to bring me money, or that's going to bring me affirmation or power or status, or these things that we feel like this is how we have to present in order to get it. And it's not true. It's not true. So it pisses me off so much, y'all. Like the relationship that we have, the relationship we have with hip hop. What's up, TR? See, I was just talking about you. I don't know how long you've been in here. I was just talking about you in our conversation. But the relationship that we have with hip hop, like it just needs to be more complex. And I saw Kellis, side note, what Kellis said about Rick Ross and Officer. Like, listen, man, the COs were dirty. So I'm not really ascribing to like, yo, Rick Ross was a cop. Like, yo, the COs was dirty in prison. Super dirty. When I was in the military, there were gang members who would join the military so they could like get military training, and then they would get out and they would go back to their set and they would teach their set the military training. So just because someone is a cop don't necessarily mean, to me, they don't necessarily mean that they joined because they wanted to do the right thing. It's the propaganda that America spews that everybody who joined the military after 9/11 was done so for patriotic reasons. Absolutely not. We didn't join the military because we felt this need to serve our country. Some of us did. But some of us need to get out of our environment. This was our rap career. Yo, I'm in the hood. I'm down bad. I need to get out. Here's the military. Let me figure this out. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff,